The training program our group has created is for the organization Future Finance. Future Finance is a small business firm that specializes in financial advice. The topic area we have decided to focus on is transitioning to remote working. As the events of COVID-19 have affected the way businesses run their operations, it is imperative for an organization to adapt to new work practices. As 2020 shaped this year into remote working, it is important for HR to assist employees to feel connected, motivated, and part of a team when transitioning to remote working. At Future Finance, we are looking to train our base level employees as management will continue to operate from the business side. The issues that can be faced when not preparing employees is that it can lead to them being disconnected and unmotivated due to transition into remote working. Employees may feel disconnected and unmotivated as they may not get the same type of recognition for their work compared to when working in the workplace. Also, they may be unmotivated as job security can be a factor that can have them believing they might lose their jobs due to the pandemic. It is important for employers to ensure that employees are receiving intrinsic and extrinsic rewards so that employees can feel motivated and connected to the business. This will be achieved as each employee will receive training on how to transition into remote working. As a HR team, our role is to prepare our employees of upcoming issues. Thus, every member in our HR team were responsible for completing a set of tasks to help develop a training program that will assist our employees. My role involved addressing the issue that is currently affecting the business operations. Thus, I had to inform them of what we expect from them after training and developing their skills to work remotely from the business. Furthermore, I had to conduct a return on investment to help the team understand how well our business is doing when it comes to training our employees. Stephen was responsible for conducting a needs assessment for the organization as a whole. Through this, he's going to conduct 3 levels of analysis, which are organizational, task, and person analysis. Adrian's role was to identify a program we utilize to solve the issue our employees are facing. While considering the differences in adult and individual learning, Adrian was responsible for making sure that the program would successfully appeal to each individual need. Claudia's role was to inform our employees how we're planning to implement these training programs to develop their skills. Furthermore, she is responsible for evaluating the success of our training program by utilizing 3 main areas to identify the effectiveness of programs implemented. Here, our objective is to provide prior learning to transition in their physical workplace. This will be done through various training sessions, which includes on-the-job training that involves all employees so that we can reduce time constraints. As we train employees to operate from home, we'll also be teaching employees how to access emails and work systems from their home device. Moreover, weekly conference calls will be conducted to further support employees and to ensure tasks are being met.
So the purpose of a needs assessment is threefold: to identify performance gaps, to prioritize them, and then to address the most important ones. And a needs analysis involves identifying the reasons as to why these gaps have occurred. Typically, HRD should be very proactive and be prepared for situations. However, we have been very much reactive, as it was unforeseeable that this global pandemic of the coronavirus would occur and would have such a vast effect on the world and organizations and workplaces. And more on done discuss key aspects involved in each type of analysis, as well as highlighting importance as to why this training analysis should occur. So firstly, an organizational analysis must be done, which involves identifying goals, resources, and constraints the organization has. Current goals of the organization are to allow for smooth transitioning into remote working and also to enable employees to stay motivated and connected throughout the whole process. So training must be done prior in order to ensure employees are well prepared, and also procurement of resources must be done, such as laptops, desks, and computers, to allow for employees to work efficiently from home just like they would in the workplace. An environmental constraint, as previously mentioned, is the global pandemic of the coronavirus. This has led to a plethora of laws being implemented by the government, including them highly recommending people work from home unless it's absolutely essential. And an inability to work in close proximity with other individuals poses a threat to work operations, which has led to employees having to work remotely. So the next form of analysis is task analysis, involving information regarding specific jobs, identifying aspects of training and what should be targeted to best achieve optimal performance. The first of the 5 steps are to develop a job description. Our job description will be financial advisors setting up home workspaces and continuing to perform daily tasks at home. They usually are performed in the workplace. Second step is task identification, which includes maintaining high communication levels between colleagues and between the clients as well, and to remain connected to reduce feelings of isolation, done through things such as Zoom or Skype. Third step is the key skills, characteristics, and attributes needed. So knowledge of how to connect programs such as work emails and online systems to be done at home. Things such as attributes and skills such as dependability, open-mindedness, organisation, and productivity have all been highlighted. The fourth and fifth steps regard identifying and prioritising areas that can benefit from the training, and the ability to connect to work devices such as mentioned, Skype and Zoom are key, as work cannot be done without it, including meetings happening. And also ensuring motivations remain high whilst working remotely is very key to ensure employees continue to do the work required and remain productive throughout. And finally, a person analysis should occur, which looks at training needs of each specific individual, and rather than just the whole group. So data collection must occur here, and our chosen type of data collection is through a survey. So this survey has been created in order to require more of the organisations to look at what individuals require, including resources and training to be able to transition. And some of the questions we post to be filled out by the employees include their name, are they comfortable with working at home, do they have any issues or concerns regarding working remotely, do they have the internet, and if so, do they have unlimited internet or partial amount, do they have general stationery at home, do they have a quiet and safe working environment, including many others. So throughout the survey, the company will be able to gain valuable information to identify any employee specific needs to work at home and any concerns they might have, as well as highlighting what training we need to target for that specific person. And some of the things that we identified are individuals who require ergonomic chairs and desks as well, and not all have unlimited internet, which could be a concern, as well as not all have a functioning laptop or computer. And numerous employees were also found to be anxious to working from home and require concise instruction as to how they'll be able to operate remotely to remain confident throughout the process.
As we understand all individuals learn differently and have different motivations to learn, we've created a tailored approach in order to successfully appeal to each individual's needs. Our approach is based upon a few major pieces of theory, the first being Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Psychological, safety, belongingness, esteem, and self-actualization needs will be met as we will implement a 3-stage approach to this training plan. Claudia will speak more about this in depth later on. The second major theoretical consideration that underpins our approach is Knoll's 1980 to 1990 andragogical assumptions. There are 6 major assumptions which we acknowledge. These being the need to know. We at Future Finance understand that adults need to know why they need to learn something before undertaking it, which is why in the initial information phase we will inform all of our staff of our objectives. Our key learning objectives follow Bloom's Taxonomy's 1956 model, which are, at the end of our remote training, Future Finance employees will be able to list common ways to stay motivated as well as keep in contact with management whilst working from home. The second being identify common trends with withdrawn employees. The third, by the end of this remote working course, remote workers will be able to organise their workload more efficiently so they won't feel overwhelmed. The fourth being employees will be able to list key areas of concern regarding remote working. The fifth is staff will be able to prioritise their tasks. And lastly, future finance staff will be able to develop a strategic communication plan. Learn the self-concept. Adults have a self-concept of being responsible for their own decisions, which means we will make it abundantly clear that they do not have to undertake this transition into remote working. However, it's in their greatest interest to. This is because if their colleagues are working more efficiently and effectively than them, they may be disadvantaged when it comes to future job promotions. As James Lang, the co-founder of C-Trip, stated, a group of C-Trip service reps were sent home to do their work. They consistently completed more calls than their counterparts who remained in their call center. The role of experience. Adults bring a great volume of different quality of experiences. We will embrace this fact and we will use it to our advantage. We will offer and actively seek feedback from our employees and ask for any recommendations in which they feel will benefit our training program and enhance their transition into remote working. The readiness to learn and orientation to learning. Adults become ready to learn what they need to know to cope with real-life situations as well as what they perceive can help them in real-life situations as they are life-centered. Future Finance's HRD team will consider this and clearly present the facts that 68% of Australian employees allow remote working, according to Indeed blogs published in 2019, which may lead them to fall behind their natural worker skill level if they do not embrace the transition into remote working. Motivation. The most potent motivation are internal pressures, which we recognise. However, as our major focus is on employees feeling connected, motivated, and a part of a team, Future Finance will not apply heavy top-down pressure from management to its employees. Although heavy pressure may contribute to compliance, it may also decrease overall morale and culture within the company, as petty tyranny and abusive supervision may be systematically linked to aspects of psychological distress among workers, according to Cacciatore in 2015. Although Knoll's 1980 to 1990 model covers most major considerations in terms of adult learning, we must also consider as a person matures, he or she changes from a dependent personality to a self-directed individual. Their decision-making is based not only on their education but also on their life experiences. The readiness to learn is affected by their development in social rules, and maturity adds to the knowledge of how essential education is to their future, which can lead to extrinsic rewards being one's major motivation. With this in mind, Future Finance will employ motivational techniques such as Employee of the Month, reward bonuses to the highest achievers, as well as the most improved. This is done to ensure both intrinsic and extrinsic motivation levels of employees are considered.
Of the location change. This includes technological help relating to laptop setups and Zoom, and also to inform staff of altered communication plans. These changes will work to promote a sense of confidence leading into the adapted work. The session will be delivered through a face-to-face method at the workplace to allow clearer on-the-job training. It is argued by individuals that on-the-job training is more important than formal education. As such, we find it critical to utilize this sort of training method. The session delivered at the workplace will be targeted towards all staff members at once, as the information regarding the changes to technology are universal and may allow employees to have majority of their questions answered in one session. This would save company time rather than hosting multiple small meetings. Employees will be asked to keep 3 hours free on a designated day for this task to commence, although it is hoped to only take 2 hours. The IT department will be heavily involved, as management will work with them to devise a how-to document for all home technology setup. IT will also be responsible for leading a short tutorial to teach employees how to connect to the VPN from home and also to connect to the workplace servers. To ensure that all employees can voice their concerns, the second at-home training method will be directed towards individual teams through an interactive tool called Zoom. We intend to conduct daily meetings for roughly half an hour via these services to allow a sense of connectivity and continue to develop team skills through the online platform. It is a choice of Future Finance to purchase a premium service offered by Zoom. These calls would again assist staff to relay how they are feeling and what they are achieving, promoting inclusiveness and an outlet to be motivated. It can also allow staff to ask one another for assistance and learn across teams. The third step involves both a Zoom call and trivia. This will be implemented at the end of the week to allow all teams to share their weekly progress with the whole business. It allows staff to again ask questions and stay updated with other related areas of the business. This will then move into group trivia to add a fun aspect into the workplace to promote team bonding in replacement of traditional Friday night drinks. Measuring success is critical to any new process. Therefore, our training and communication strategies will be evaluated based on 3 key areas. Firstly, expenses must be considered. A return of investment will be calculated to assist us to identify whether this was a cost-effective training method. Secondly, Future Finance intends to conduct an anonymous employee satisfaction survey, which will question how employees currently feel, what they have appreciated in the change, and areas they wish to be altered. This will assist management to understand how connected staff feel, if they are satisfied with their workplace or not. Thirdly, the levels of staff retention will also be examined through this change. This will give a quantifiable number to prove if employees feel connected with their teams and workplace. Essentially, it will assist to identify whether employees are happy to stay with the business during such a great time of change.
A value of return on investment equals 2, indicating that the organization would receive $2 for every $1 spent on training. Here at Future Finance, after the training, their pay increased from 25 to 30. Assuming the cost of dealing with a customer online will equal $2, this will lead to $10 increase in productivity improvements, and since our employees work 8 hours a day, this means that it will equal to a total of $80 a day per employee. Furthermore, a business is looking to operate remotely for at least 48 weeks. With 15 employees currently employed, the calculation shows 15 multiplied by 80 multiplied by 240 equaling to $288,000. The return on investment below is calculated. Here it shows that $30,000 is subtracted from $288,000, thus equaling $258,000. It is then divided by 30,000 and it equals to 8.6% return on investment.
Thank you all for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Now please get involved with our tutorial activity.